the question, is there money to be made by our government from our children and from the dumbing down of these teenage and young parents? The answer, absolutely. We are in a position right now where when a young person gets pregnant, a young girl, mind you, she needs an adult education on how to provide for that child, on how to provide for herself while she's pregnant with that child. Everything that we're doing, especially in our schools, is going against that process, because the second a young girl gets pregnant, the public school boots her out. These children, these young girls need to be caressed by our community. They need to be taught by Big Mama and Papa Joe. We have fewer and fewer Big Mamas and Papa Joes, but I assure you they still exist. They have to be sought out. They have to be found. We have gotten to the position now where Big Mama is afraid to go to the corner store right now for fear of having her head busted by the same people that she are potentially raising. We need to watch ourselves and keep an eye on our community and our seniors, as well as our black community as a whole. We have problems because our education system is not educating properly. There's, and to use a word from a previous program, there's a miseducation, and there's a lot of money to be made for the miseducation, especially of black children, because they think that what they wear is important. They're not concentrating on their souls. They think that where they go is important. They're not concentrating on who they're going with. They think, like I said in a previous program, that especially the young boys, the only thing that makes them feel like men is how many children they have. Forget the fact that they're not taking care of them. Forget the fact that they're not seeing the children. Forget the fact that they're not involved in their children's life. We're at the point now where love has replaced hate. Community has been replaced by gangs. Communication has been replaced by violence. And everything that we do, discipline, has been replaced by rage. And in the rage that we have, justice has been replaced by bad politicians who are making money off the dumbing down of every generation. Because every generation, the more money that they might make, they're spending it on frivolous things that have nothing to do with the family, that has nothing to do with the development of our community. And our community needs to be restructured. It needs to be redeveloped. We need to focus things back on asking Big Mama and Papa Joe questions that they only know because they came from back in the day where it's families ate together. Families went to church together. Everyone was in the house at the same time. For you out there that remember the streetlight rule, it seems funny now, because as you walk the streets or go out, look out your window, you see children out at all hours of the day and night. The streetlight rule was that no matter what happens, I don't care if you're playing football, if you got run over by a car, limp home before that streetlight came on. And every child, especially in my neighborhood, especially in my community, abided by that rule. That rule was a part of our lives. We are constantly at a point where we need to re-educate ourselves and our children. Our children are not being educated in the system because we turn them over to everyone else other than who they need to be turned over to. God first, and their parents secondly. The only exception to this rule is when babies started to have babies. I've said before that when you're a child, you can't teach another child anything. So therefore, once again, I'm going to hold her up because we're getting used to her. We need Big Mama. We need Papa Joe. We need the church. Okay? It's important that the information that we're given, that we analyze. We need to analyze information because we need to talk to our young people. From father to son, from mother to daughter, from father to daughter, from father to son, from grandma to grandpa, and down. We need to learn to communicate more. You know, when I was growing up, a lot of this communication that I've been talking about used to happen over dinner when families ate together. It was a bonding thing that you could never ever lose when you get older. But nevertheless, we've seemed to have lost it, or at least it's been misplaced. People have seemed to thrown out the recipe for proper child rearing, the recipe for the proper conversations of families. Now we're stuck in a position where parents are trying to be friends to their children. Parents are trying to be adversaries to their children instead of just being the parent. Knowing what you know, laying the law down, and leaving it at that. I want to call out, before we end this program, we got a little more time left, but it's important, and I want to leave this with you to think. There are two facets of the government, two, that we need to keep an eye on, who's part of the problem. One of them is the ATF, the Department of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. In my opinion, this shouldn't even be a government department. It should be a convenience store, because you get all those three things at any convenience store anyway, and the government has completely turned this aspect around to where guns is available everywhere. Alcohol is available everywhere to anyone. Okay? And tobacco is one of the worst drugs on the face of the earth. Much worse than all the illegal ones. The second one is the Food and Drug Administration. The Food and Drug Administration is, for lack of better words, is crooked from the head to the toe. They control what we eat. They control the drugs that are out there, the legal ones and the illegal ones, which is one thing you don't hardly hear. When I say Food and Drug Administration, you think, well, hospitals and the medical profession. I disagree. All drugs, legal and illegal, are controlled by this government department. We need to get an understanding of it, because constantly, every year, hardworking, God-fearing, good people continuously elect politicians who don't care about you. We need to understand that, not stop turning our lives over to the politicians and take back control. God has given us the control in the beginning. Let's take back the control. Stop blaming the white man. Stop blaming the gangsters. Stop blaming the politicians. Stop blaming the news media. We have the power as a community. And if we come together as the community, we will begin to take our power back, which is where God intended it to be in the beginning, with the family. God honors family. Here's to success to the family. Here's to success for Big Mama and Papa Joe and their children, Thelma, and I know y'all remember Baby from last week. Thelma, as a quick update before we leave, as we predicted, is pregnant again. And it is so typical of young women when they go back for their 6-month or 6-week checkup that they find that they're pregnant again. And everybody asking why, how, why, how. Well, I'll leave you with this. 10 toes up and 10 toes down makes babies. I don't care how you slice that cake, it's going to come out the same way. So here's to our success. It's coming together as a community. Here's to our success coming together as families. Here's to our success as the individual begins to have a closer walk with God. So when he comes to the community, when he comes to the family, he'll have something to add as opposed to taking away. He'll have something to build as opposed to tearing down. We thank you. Once again, we ask you to leave your comments for this program. We'll see you again next time. Peace.